What is Hy102 about? Hy102 is a world history class that studies about how today's world was built through colonialism, the way our ancestors fight for our rights and land, and their struggles for freedom. This course will help us learn about the hardships and stories of our ancestors so that many of the Pacific Islands can gain independence from colonial ruling. By the end of this, I will be able to complete my objectives to explain what Hy102 is about. Pacific Island students should study Hy102, or why is it relevant to the Pacifics, and also explain a particular case study from the modules. Hy102 is a world history class that made up of 3 modules which we are studying in these semesters. The first module is Artificial Intelligence and History, which Artificial Intelligence is a short word for AI, most of us know of. So these modules is mostly talk about the relation between history and artificial intelligence. Both can be beneficial and challenging. Our second module is about the emerging of anti-colonialism, refers to the growing resistance of Pacific Islanders against colonial rules, the global south, and the historical impact of colonialism, imperialism, and neocolonialism in societies around the world. Anti-colonialism and decolonization explores how Pacific people have resisted colonial domination and continue to advocate for independence. We'll be focusing more on modules 2 or 3, which regards of the Pacific Islands countries. Why is it relevant to Pacific Island country? To start with is the Hathaway and Caribbean resistance during the 1500s and fought against the exploitation of indigenous peoples. According to historical accounts, when he was told that Christians would go to heaven, he replied that he would rather go to hell than be with the colonizers. The second one is King Afonso I and the Kingdom of Congo. It happened during the 1526. In a letter written in 1526, he complained that Portuguese traders were taking the people of Congo into slavery, including noblemen and children. This demonstrates diplomatic resistance where indigenous leaders used negotiation and written appeals to challenge colonial exploitation. His actions show that resistance was not always fought on the battlefield. It could also take place through the political leadership and diplomacy. The Mau movement in Samoa from 1900 to 1920s. This was a peaceful movement that opposed foreign colonial rule and called for Samoa self-government. The Mau movement became one of the most important anti-colonial movements in the Pacific. It shows that Pacific Islanders were not passive victims of colonialism, but active participants in the struggle for independence and self-determination. Samoa eventually became independent in 1962, making it the first Pacific Island nation to achieve the independence in the 20th century. Pacific Island country also struggles during or under colonialisms. The first one was economic exploitation. Colonialism was largely driven by the desire for wealth and resources, as it created long-term economic inequalities that are still visible till today. The second one was the loss of land and sovereignty. Colonial powers took control of Pacific Island territories, and indigenous leaders lost political authority. Foreign governments made decisions for local community, and also traditional system of governance were weakened. The third one was cultural suppression. Is that indigenous language and tradition were discouraged because they wanted something that would definitely understandable for every each one of them, and foreign religions and lifestyle were introduced. Also, traditional knowledge and custom was declined. The case study I will take the global fight against colonialism in Oceania, which this book was written by Kito Swan, is the Pacifica Black. The content is for over a century. Global superpower exploited Australia through land theft, resource extraction, blackbirding, which means forced labor, and devastating nuclear tests. And during the 1916 to 1980s, the Pacific activists rejected racist colonial labels. They reclaimed blackness as a proud, unified political identity to resist white supremacy. But why is it matters today? The books prove Pacific history isn't small or isolated. It highlights that the fight against colonialism is still happening today in places like West Papua.